So next important your time domain specification is peak time. So we know definition of the peak time. So peak time definition is, it is the time taken by the response to reach the peak of the response first time. So how can you find that? Whenever you want the maximum value or minimum value of the response, then we will take the first derivative. Therefore at t is equal to Tp, then your first dc of t by dt is equal to 0. So when you take this dc of t by dt is equal to 0, when you derive it, then you will get the expression for Tp, which is the peak time. Let us see how to do that. We know already c of t expression. C of t is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta omega n t by under root 1 minus zeta square sine omega dt plus phi. This is the c of t expression. Now first we will take the first derivative of it. So dc of t by dt. So we can easily find out the first derivative, which results I am giving here. So we have 1 omega n e power minus zeta omega n t divided by under root 1 minus zeta square and sine omega dt plus phi and minus phi. So we can cancel the 2 plus phi minus phi, which results in only sine omega dt. So what will be the dc of t by dt? I can write dc of t by dt is equal to omega n into e power minus zeta omega n t divided by 1 minus zeta square sine omega dt. Now, so we say that at time t is equal to Tp, dc of t by dt is equal to 0. Therefore, let this expression and equate it to 0. When equate to 0, again the concept is same here. We have two terms, and out of two terms, the first term cannot be 0. We have e power, and the second term should be 0. Therefore, I can write it directly. Your sine omega Tp is equal to 0. Now that 0 I can write it as a sine n phi. Now what will be the Tp? Your Tp is equal to your n phi by omega d. So Tp is n phi by omega d. Generally your peak time is defined for n is equal to 1. So when n is equal to 1, the expression goes like this. Your Tp is equal to pi by omega d, or we can write pi by omega n into 1 minus zeta square. So this is the expression for peak time when the response is going from 0 to the first peak of the response. Sometimes we are interested to know what is the time taken by the response to reach the second peak. So if you want to know the second peak, then we can write the expression it as Tp is equal to, so the general expression is n pi by omega d. When n is equal to 1, it is the first peak. When n is equal to 3, it is the second peak. For second peak, it is not 2, it is 3. Therefore, we can write as a 3 pi by omega d. So it is the time taken to reach the second peak. Like that, if you want the third peak, then you should use 5 pi, 7 pi, 9 pi, like this. These are the peak values. Sometimes we want to know what is the time taken by the response to take the second value. We know the response like this. This is the first peak, this is the first value. Then if you want to go the first value, then n value should be 2. So your Tp is equal to, we may not call it as a peak time, maybe sometimes valley time, but let us take it as a Tp only. So 2 pi by omega d. So if it is a 4 pi by omega d, then that will be the second value, and similarly you can take 6 pi, 8 pi, 10, 10 and so on. So this is the peak time derivation and the peak time expression, which is one of the important time domain specifications, peak overshoot. So we can define the peak overshoot like, it is the nominal difference between the peak of the response and the steady state value of the response. The steady state value we can also call the final value. So what is the nominal difference between these two is defined as peak overshoot. So why we take only nominal difference? Why can't the absolute difference? Let us take these two examples. Now I have a response like this. So in this response, the steady state value is 1. My underdamped system has oscillations, therefore the peak is going to here and coming down, and we have the response like this. The steady state value is 1 and the peak value is 2. Therefore the absolute difference between these two is 1. The difference between the steady state value and the peak value minus steady state value is 1. And I'll take the second system. In this system I have similar kind of response where the steady state value is 10 and the peak value is 11. Then the difference between these, the absolute difference is 11 minus 10 is 1. But the difference 1 in this second system has a lot of difference again from the first system, because when you talk in terms of the percentage, the first system, the change in the value is almost 100%, whereas here the change in the value is only 10%. So absolute value may be 1 and 1, but in terms of percentage it is different. Therefore it is always better to express the difference, the nominal value only, not in terms of the absolute value. So again we'll come to the definition. So it is the nominal difference between the peak of the value and the steady state value. Generally it is expressed percentage. How can you write this? Now we'll use MP to denote your peak overshoot. So percentage MP is equal to, I'm writing this CP, which stands for the peak value, minus CS, it is a steady state value, divided by CS into 100. So this is the definition of your peak overshoot mathematically. Now I want to derive the expression for it. So if you want to derive the expression, there are two things we need to derive. First thing is what is the steady state value and what is the peak value. So steady state is very simple. We know we can use the final value theorem to get it. So your CS is equal to limit s tends to 0 s into C of s. C of s expression is already available. When you substitute here, when you operate this limit, then you will get the steady state value. And we know the steady state value for underdamped system, a standard second order underdamped system, when you apply the unit step, it is going to be 1. So CS value is 1. Now our approach is now to obtain a CP expression, that is a peak value of the C of t. Now how to get the peak value of it? We know already what is a peak time. Your C of t is varying like this. When time is varying, your C of t is also varying. When time reaches to the TP, then you will get the peak value. Therefore wherever t is there, then you substitute TP and take the expression, substitute it, and we can find out CP. Let us see how to find. So we have a C of t expression, that is 1 minus e power zeta omega t divided by under root of 1 minus zeta square sine omega dt plus 5. Now, so this C of t will be Cp when t is equal to Tp, where Tp is equal to, again we know Tp formula, pi by omega n into 1 minus zeta square under root. So we will substitute and see how we will get the Cp expression. Your Cp is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta omega n. So in place of t, I should substitute pi by omega n into 1 minus zeta square. Therefore the over e power, I have zeta omega n t, and as well as into pi by omega into 1 minus zeta square. Therefore omega n we can cancel it. Similarly in the denominator we have under root 1 minus zeta under root 1 minus zeta square, and we have sine omega d into, in place of t again we need to substitute Tp. What is Tp there? Your Tp is nothing but pi by omega d. I am using omega d itself because omega d I can cancel it. Therefore omega d plus 5. Now after cancelling these things, what you will get? Your C of Cp is equal to 1 minus e power minus zeta by zeta, again I have pi, so zeta pi, or we can write as a pi zeta by under root 1 minus zeta square, and denominator I have 1 minus zeta square, and plus I have here sine term. In the sine term